What is good? What's going on, everyone? We are live here. Talks on the Attack and Third. Me, Pat Bernard, Steve Fuentes, and listen, the Philadelphia Union. Yes, I'm almost butchering my own name. But listen, the Philadelphia Union. What did we talk about last week? What did they need to do up in New England? Have the get right game, and they did. They handled business, winning 3-0 up in New England. And how do you want it? How do you want served? Playmakers came to play. You had Gazdag, not one but two rebounding goals. You had Daniel Carranza with a header goal after missing some time a little bit. And I was similar. I mean, say what you want. You could call in which they are. New England is nothing but a bottom feeder. And listen, this was the get right game. This is a build confidence game, and that man was staying on his own between the pipes for the Philadelphia Union. The Philadelphia Union looked really, really sharp handling business up in New England. We have a lot more to get to than just that, but before we break down that game, we have a contract signing. That's right. News broke. Nice news broke today that my man Andre Blake would be getting signed for not one but a couple of year contract. He's going to stay here for a couple more years. He's not going to go anywhere. Pros and cons, Steve, and I'm going to go to you. But before we go any further, let me quickly bang out one of these great sponsors while we have everyone lined up and want to talk Union Soccer with us.
If you get hurt at work, in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, you call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Firm. Cherry Law Firm is here to fight for you and get what you deserve. Cherry Injury Law is a dedicated, well-established personal injury law firm built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured throughout the state of Pennsylvania. If you have been seriously injured in the state of PA by the negligence of another, and if you have questions for a Westchester or media personal injury attorney, please don't hesitate to call. Call 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your right. And again, that number is 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. If you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. If you want to travel with the pros, then go to phillysportstrips.com. Philly Sports Trips features premium travel and tailgating experiences for the best fans ever, the Philadelphia sports fan. Philly Sports Trips has self-travel packages and full travel packages available with round-trip flights for Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, and even the Union. They even offer day trips for more local games. Go to phillysportstrips.com, sign up immediately, and tell them EOP sent you. Do not forget, Philly Sports Trips has all the away trips for the Eagles' upcoming 2024 season, including the Brazil trip week 1. Jump on it now before you lose out on all these great opportunities. Go to phillysportstrips.com and don't miss the next great Philly sports moment.
All right, guys, we are back. Sorry about that. We had a couple commercial breaks. I figured we got everyone lined up. As we do, we have our man Phil checking in the show. He goes, I want more golf talk from Steve. And guys, if you haven't checked out, Steve did a awesome golf show. What's it? Highway to Heaven or something like that?
Fairway
yes.
Fairway
to Heaven, yes.
With Phil and Jason. Yeah, it was a great time, man.
Yeah, listen, guys, great stuff. And guys, check out my man Phil tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. Does a wonderful job Monday through Fridays here on Edge of Philly Sports. Does a great job here. JD says, are you trying to rack up 52 different ways to butcher Steve's name? Listen, I'll find 53 ways to butcher that name. With mine, we might make 100.
Oh, man.
He says, good morning, gentlemen. Yeah, so, again, Steve, your thoughts on Andre Blake not going anywhere? Like I said, ups and downs about it. Your thoughts?
I think it settles all that talk of him not being happy and, wanting to leave, and from that one tweet. And, it's almost like, why – these guys have human emotions too. I see Joey. It's Roman. Hey, Roman. Hey, but it's there's no way that these guys have emotions too. And it's when they've done nothing but win the last 4 years. They haven't won it all, but they're a winning team. They're a winning club. And then the way that this season started, it almost made it seem like Andre Blake has regressed. And then you hear the talk of, Zemla had a few good games when he filled in earlier on. And then they had that 3-game win streak against, Portland, Minnesota, and Nashville, where Zemla played great. And it's human nature when you're a legend somewhere, you start to hear those murmurs and you start to hear those footsteps behind you of that next guy coming up. You're going to be a little upset. This puts all those kind of rumors to rest. He's here to stay. And hey, look, they're letting him get healthy, right? You got to let him get healthy now. Now that he's locked in, you know he's happy. You put that sort of stuff behind you, and let's focus on what he can do for the club moving forward in a way of getting back to what we're used to seeing from him. Clean sheets, not these uncharacteristic goals that are getting past him against. I think it was the Real Salt Lake game, where it was that one goal where it was just so uncharacteristic of him, and it was like something else is going on. He's spent a few games, where he's been on the bench or he hasn't even been there. Now you got Rick coming up, and so you got the pieces in place for him now to be here to mentor now too. I think in the Bedoya role that he's kind of been, where he's kind of been the leader. You have to have these guys, these vocal guys, because he is one of those guys who he's outspoken. Mm-hmm. He's been outspoken with even management. It's good to have these guys. So I think the cons are we need to see him. He's here. We're paying for him to be here. Now let's get him back out in the goal, in net. Let's get Zemla back to where he, in a better position where he doesn't need to be the starter. He played great against New England. I'll give him that. First clean sheet, I think it was for him. But he's much better in the role of, oh, you need me to come in for 20 minutes or you need me to fill in for one game sort of mindset, not I need to be the guy for 3-4 games, matches in a row.
Right. And so, and the way I look at it, and like I said, I listen to everyone talk about it, and is it a desperation move, or so do they feel like they don't have nothing coming on? They got to make the sign because they're not going to go out there, come out of pocket and pay people and pay for goaltending and whatnot. But like you just said, you're paying for the man's leadership at this point. You're paying for a guy who's you're talking about one of the best goaltenders of all time for MLS soccer. You are bringing in, like you said, it's going to be a voice, a leader, show how to carry yourself in and outside of the field. You are showing that's where he's at. And this is, like, again, one of the best players of all time. And yes, as now he's getting dinged up left and right. He hasn't been healthy yet. He hasn't really completed a full game, which is scary at this point. But maybe they're showing a lot of faith in Simla, saying, "Listen, you're going to be you're going to hold it down until he's 100. Until they still have I feel like they still have full confidence that okay, maybe Blake might have to set this out more like half the year, or maybe come back next year at full healthy. But until then, we're going to run this horse of Alvaro Silva and maybe Andre Rook gets his feet wet here and there, and see what he's got. But listen, this is a good way for Simla to build confidence. But like you were saying, beginning of it, look, when he came to start to fill in, he played great, especially against that red-hot Minnesota team at the time. Then all of a sudden, you play against Salt Lake, and then it was like a snowball effect. 1 got by, 12 got by. And then all of a sudden, this was the game that he needed. He needed it where he was reading that New England defense, their offense. Wherever they wanted to go with the ball, he was making big stops. And there was a couple plays that he made huge stops. There was a couple plays where New England, just where this Philly defense leaves a bunch of holes. He came up huge, making stops in 5 holes and stuff like that, making some big stuff. If you're a hockey fan, he was making some great 5-hole stuff. But let's get in some more of the comments here as they keep on rolling in. As our man JD says, not just winning club, but the most points in the league since 2019. Joe
point.
also checked. Joe also checking in. Yo, what's up,
Joe,
Joey?
what's up, big man?
Here goes JD. I'm happy to re-sign a club legend, but I admit this is this run of injuries has me concerned. The longer Semla is on the more defense, as more we get more similar, is more defense seems to fall apart, and that's where you're right. This is where similar kind of he kind of yells at people. He kind of not similar. Blake kind of gets in the hey, listen, I need defense out. He'll scream at those guys and say he needs defense. Yo, guys, what's up, dude? Hockey union guys here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We'll talk somehow, Puck. Frank says, "What's up, Steve?" And he says, "Let me know if EOP ever wants to need a union photos. I do photography with the squad, Steve. Good friend. Wow. So
there we go.
I am now blessed. That's all. Listen, we'll have to make a direct line to you there, Frank, to our upper management.
Frankie.
Get you connected with the guy, and we'll go forward from there. But and Frankie, listen, if you're watching the show, big time Union fan, what happened? What's your thoughts on the Union taking this big W? And you and I are going to hear throughout the course of the show who they beat. But right now, that's going. We're getting that conversation in just a little bit. But like right now, Andre Blake not going anywhere. So guys, if you're out there watching the show, what's your thoughts? You want Andre Blake here? Guys like JD are showing concerns about the injury bugs starting to creep in on them. And maybe so. So some people might not like the move. Some people do like the move. What's your thoughts on it? Listen, I think it's a solid move. I get it. Injury bugs are starting to creep in. Maybe they got something in the system that's going to be coming up soon. Like I said, you got a serviceable backup for now. This kind of builds momentum. Again, you're getting ready to face two teams that are in front of you in the standings. This is all the, this is, like I said, the get right game for me.
And this is what they needed moving forward, because you're going up against teams that are ahead of you in the standings. So you go ahead and you get these wins or even draws, especially if you can go at least and get a draw on the road at Charlotte. A draw on the road and getting 1 point is huge. So you can slowly use this as momentum. Now, I know that for majority of this game, they were playing a man up. New England got that red card early on in the match.
Yes.
It was a warranted red card. It was a valid red card. And Uwa played it perfect, I think. I think he played that play perfectly to draw in that red card, because I think he wasn't running full speed on that. He was running just fast enough to create the contact and create the defender to create the red card. But that's the one thing that I have that I'm kind of worried about moving forward is Zemla, continuing to talk on Zemla, is there was New England had a lot of opportunities while still playing a man down, which resorts back to the whole, defense that we keep talking about. You might be able to get away with lack of defense this week against Charlotte because they're not a very strong offensive team. But moving forward, you're going against some really strong offensive teams, minus maybe Montreal. But, you got Toronto, you got Miami, Cincinnati, and then, back to Charlotte. But, those sort of clubs, the defense has to be able to figure it out. The offense is fourth in the league in goals scored. So it's still, I keep talking about it each show almost, how baffling it is, how opposite this club is from last season, where it was you didn't have to worry about the defense. You didn't have to, it was clean sheet, or just giving up one goal, to where now it's the team is so strong offensively. And is that signs of age? Is that signs of staleness with the club? Because a lot of this youth movement is very strong offensive minded. So what does this club do moving forward with this Andre Blake signing? You lock up a 3-time MLS goalkeeper of the year. What do you do now moving forward? Because Martinez, Curtin said it today, he's probably not going to be available. He's injured. So we're going to see more of Flock, which I'm not too big of a fan of. I keep seeing a lot of other people talking about how they're not too big a fan of it. But now we're put in a position where he's probably going to be forced to play. I'm hoping that maybe Bueno gets a little bit of time with Martinez being out. But what do you think this club does defensively moving forward now that you locked up your goalkeeper? It sort of seems like we have a backup, at least maybe for one more season before he probably gets snatched away. Do they go out and sign somebody this summer with a defensive mindset, knowing that this team can score? Gazdag is 4th in the league or 5th in the league, tied for 5th in the league in goals on the season. So those sort of things, I'm more worried about the you got to keep Carranza first off, but I'm more worried about the defensive end when it comes to availability, health, and if management is going to go out and get somebody.
I'm with you. If you're looking for a major gray area on this team, it is your defense. I mean, my Lord, how many times have I seen this team, the defense, Gazdag, just getting, not just Gazdag, Gazdag just getting cooked. Like, I'm seeing the one-on-one coverages just getting cooked, and they're getting burnt the other way. And like you said, this is you're talking about the bottom feeder. This is the bottom of the bottom basement boys, and they are finding ways. Like you said, they had plenty of scoring opportunities. And this is a lonely New England team that pretty much, threw the white flag and said, we're done with our season. And they have made scoring opportunities. They just couldn't come up with the finish. What's going to happen, like you just mentioned, about that gauntlet of a schedule you're about to go face, where you have to go down to Charlotte. Then you come home versus a red-hot Toronto team. Then you have to, like you said, you get another little layup, you'll get Montreal. But after that, you start picking up again. You'll have to go against Cleveland, Cincinnati. Then you have Miami come through. I mean, it's going to be a lot of sphincters going to start tightening up here. And this team better figure it out fast. So we'll see what happens, though. But like you said, the defense needs to start picking up, and because you are now relying on similar coming up. Like I said, gratefully, he was a playmaker. Like I say, he walked out of New England with a clean. He walked out, and maybe this is a good momentum booster that he's going to need going against the Charlotte team. I mean, 2 different teams. Again, that team's now sitting at 6th in the standings, and we'll get into them a little bit. But again, guys, keep on bringing your comments. We love hearing from you guys. And JD's checking in. He's saying Charlotte has been solid lately. I think they're 5th in the East. They're 6th right now. A point on the road is good for me. Listen, they're actually so Charlotte is 5-2-1 at home. So they're actually a better team at home. They just had a draw against LA Galaxy in their last matchup. He goes, our buddy Kyle at Stream Punks Soccer has some good photos. Yes, I've seen his works, and that's a good guy too. He's actually a friend of the family. I just found out. The back line, I think, might be stabilized when Blake comes back. That doesn't explain what Bleep show this midfield has been lately. Yeah, and listen, that's where a lot of their holes is the midfield. Again, turnover ratios, all that stuff. Again, the defense needs to step up and make some plays. Again, this was a lonely New England team. I mean, you're going to face that gauntlet schedule, facing again Miami, Cincy, Charlotte, Toronto, some big time playmakers. You better figure this out. You better figure. And listen, this is going to be a lot on Jim's shoulders. Uncle Jimmy's going to have to figure this out himself. Yeah. And I don't want to hear the excuse. Well, we're down to our backup goaltender. You're going to have to excuse that. No excuses. No, You're the head coach. You figure it out.
And they've never actually won at Charlotte. So that's another thing that you can factor into is this the time finally that they get that W there, or is it revert back to, pre-New England where it was like, oh, well, no, everyone beats New England. So it was like that was just, it was going to happen regardless. But, the one good, like, this was a solid game. Yes, playing a man up, but this was one of the few games where minus Martinez and him getting injured because he had another bonehead play that could have possibly turned into a goal for New England early on. But, minus him getting hurt and him, his bonehead errors from time to time, this was the first game that, like, team-wise, there wasn't really anyone or any really bad part of the game where I was like, they could have done that a little bit better. Maybe Jim could have been a little bit more experimental with some subs being up and, being up 2 goals, being up a man. Maybe could have mixed up the lineups and let some other faces get some minutes of some run and everything. But really, this was the first game that in a while, probably since maybe Minnesota, that I can think of where it was like, wow. And coincidentally, Minnesota was the last clean sheet. But where it was like, dang, no, everyone kind of played good. Even Flock, for as much as I give him crap for being in the starting lineup, he was there. He had timely tackles. He had good connections between, his defense and then attacking. And was this the game that got him back into form? Maybe. It's going to have to be because Martinez is going to be out. But continuing about kind of like what JD said about the midfield, Martinez and Bueno are going to be gone for a portion of the summer with everyone else. Who are you going to have? Maybe in the summer during Leagues Cup, a hidden gem pops up with, one of these guys from the bench or from the, Union 2 or the academy is able to pop up and, is this where Cavan, pops his head and is like, hey, this is where, I'm here to save the day, the phenom. But this game moving forward, it's exactly what they needed. The first game in a while where what they needed to do, they did it. And they did it convincingly. So it was good to see. Overall, I'll give them an A- simply because that they did it playing a man up. But an A- for really everything all around.
You know what? I'm kind of feeling the same kind of grade. If I'm going to grade it, again, like you mentioned in the beginning, Ryan's bowling gets, first of all, Ua draws the foul to get him out of the game. He draws it, creates the turnover, gets him out of the game with the red card. Again, they had, we talked about the window of opportunities that New England has. Philly had the same going for them. I mean, Jack McGlynn had a wide open look. I mean, nobody was nowhere near him, and he had full ball control, and he just finds Julian Carranza with a header. It kind of like really set, was a spark to this offense. It kind of like woke up the team from the bench. And then you got Carranza coming, or Gazdag coming there, not one but 2 rebounding goals. Again, this was the get right game, and this is where you want to kind of kick out all the bugs, work out everything, all your dysfunctions you had, kind of worked all the bugs out, and they did. And again, Alex Similar just played in his zone and saw what everything New England wanted to do with the ball, and just was in a zone. And he made some huge plays. But again, if I'm going to go be high, critical, I'll give him an A- as well. I will give him an A- for a grade for And this is again 3-0 game. That was 3-0. You walked out of there smashing up a bad team. That's what good teams do. And like you said, we haven't had that kind of convincing win since Minnesota. You haven't felt that kind of good since Minnesota. So, yeah, you took care of Nashville after that, but it was like you only won by a point differential. But this is where you really felt good, and this is the kind of game that you win. Now, you're going to go back on the road, and then after that, you come home for 3. Playing in Philly, I don't know what's going on, but playing on the road, this team's different. So, hopefully, this team will, yes. Hopefully, this team will figure it out at home because they need to. They need to figure this, whatever this 4th straight. They're gonna fix that because they can't come back home and drop another egg. They just can't. You can't do that. So let me take a quick commercial break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit. We'll break down this Charlotte game that's coming up here this Saturday, and we'll talk a little bit Toronto as well. So let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with some more action. Here we go.
When you're staying local and you want to watch a great game or just hang out with some great people, go to Dolan's Bar at 24 East Sellers Ave in Ridley Park, right off I-95 south of the Philadelphia airport. For over 65 years, Dolan's has thrived because of one reason: the amazing people of Philadelphia. Great music, great times, memorabilia, giveaways, great drinks, and great food. You never know when a former Philly sports icon walks through that door. You go to Dolan's at 24 East Sellers Ave, Ridley Park in the 19078. Tell PJ that EOP sent you. Go to dolansbar.com or follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok.
Thank you, Dives. Thank you, buddy. But anyway, Philly heads down to Charlotte. They left yesterday. The team left yesterday to head down to Charlotte. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Even though they're a little bit ahead of us in the standings, they're 5-1-2, like I mentioned earlier, 27 points, sitting in 6th seed. I like the Philadelphia Union. I really do. I think everything that they worked out up in New England is going to carry over down here. I think they're going to have everything going for them. I think the offense is going to click like this previous game, and I think that's going to carry over. I think everything's going to be fine. They might find the back of the net. I'll give them a goal, if that. But I think this Union team and the offense is going to get everything clicking again.
Charlotte's a good defensive team. This game Charlotte kind of reminds me of who the Union were the last two to three seasons, this season. They don't give up goals. They don't really score goals, but they win. I think you mentioned it. They're 5-2-1 at home. That's an incredible home record.
Yes.
You mentioned it a few minutes ago about the Union being undefeated on the road. So it really is like, who's going to budge? Is it going to be the team that plays great at home, or is it going to be the team that is playing amazing on the road? They got two guys, Malanda and Privet, who are probably two of the best defenders in the league. I think they just locked up Privet for a few years. He just got an extension. Their goalkeeper, I'm going to butcher his name, Khalid,
yes.
I think.
Welcome to my world.
There we go. Yeah, two peas in a pod when it comes to trying to figure out names. But 39 total saves, 6 clean sheets. He's their version of Andre Blake, and it keeps reminding me more and more of the Union of a few seasons ago. This game, I would love to be able to walk away with a draw. I'm really not feeling too confident in a W. I almost kind of feel like the Union got too many shout-outs this week with you had Carranza and Gazdag breaking the goals scored in the same game record. You got Chris Donovan for the Union too. He was the MLS Next Pro player of the match week, of the match day. So you had Jack McGlynn got another shout out for the young guys for MLS. Gazdag, we kept talking about it, was on the team of the match day starting lineup. So it kind of is like, man, now we got all these like good things and these kind of like standards back to it. And it's like, all right, like, well, we were playing with 10 guys, we were playing versus 10 guys, we were playing versus New England. It's good that all those things happen, but going up against a team like this, I would love to be able just to walk away with a draw. Now, if you get the win, obviously that's always good, but I'm more, we're going to talk about it here in a little bit, but I'm more looking forward to Toronto. I'm almost playing the gym game. I'm thinking about Wednesday before I'm thinking about Saturday, because I'm really nervous about this game. And this is probably the first game that I have had that Philadelphia sort of attitude where I'm like, damn, I know we just won, but like I'm thinking about all the reasons why we won, and they don't seem too good. So like now that we're going up, but I don't know. But you got to be able to attack this game. You got to have an offensive mind going up against a defensive-minded team. You can't go defense to defense, to me personally, because you're going to get caught because this club isn't a good defensive club anymore, the Union. Charlotte is.
Yes.
So what is your strength this season? Offense. So guys like McGlynn, this last game, what we finally see? Guys on the other end of beautiful McGlynn, beautiful set pieces. I really wish Uwa would have gotten that header instead of Gazdag getting that rebound, because it was such a beautiful setup from McGlynn to Harriel to then that header. And then, guys got the rebound. But guys are now on the end of McGlynn, of his beautiful, passes and stuff like that. So this needs to be that game where Uwa, Carranza, and Gazdag show they're that three-headed monster that they can be. And if you can do that, I think you might be able to walk away with 2-1 sort of deal. It's going to be 2-1, 1-0 if they get a win, but I really see more of a 1-1 or 1-0 maybe for Charlotte, or a draw.
Yeah. To touch on both games, like I said, I think it's the story is going to be written how it is. Like you said, talking about Charlotte, they are a good defensive team. Matter of fact, they made a signing today, they're signed their third overall draft pick. Andre, let me guess, make sure I don't want to butcher his name. Andrew Prevente. They brought him in. He's got, again, believe it or not, he's from Penn State. He's a third round pick, but he's a defender for them. But yeah, they just signed him today, so I don't think we're going to see him in this week's game. But however, like I said, if they can handle business against this team, get a steal, a W out of Charlotte, surprise people. Like you said, maybe they walk out a 1-1 draw. But if they can, like you said, that you bring in X's and O's, they are a good defensive solid team. But if Philly could do what they did last week, get creative a little bit. And maybe it's not your two they always answer the bell. Maybe you get maybe he sneaks one in. Maybe a Jack McGlynn come in and unload one from the 18. You get one of those guys to get rocking and rolling. But then you go against Wednesday's game against this tough Toronto team that's been clicking on cylinders. So I had to dig deep. I had to put the rubber gloves on and find out. I went to the lab and find out what the heck's going on up in Toronto. What's the cause of all this? And they got a guy named Fedro Benenchi, and he's really good. He's really good because if you watch him Saturday night for all the TSN guys, and shout out to my man Gary Group, who's up there in Toronto. My man recorded a hat trick on Saturday against Montreal. He put up a hat trick. I mean, this kid was lighting it up. I mean, facilitating, and of course he finds three at the back of the net, no problem, top shelf, and that's all he did. He was torturing their goaltender out there. So I got to give shout out to Montreal. Shout out to Toronto. So they got a couple playmakers. They both have a couple guys. This kid named Prince as well. Both have 6 goals apiece. Yeah, Toronto, I'm with you, Steve. You're going to need to bring your A game. Your A game. If Oliver Silva is ready to step up to the challenge, I might. If I'm Jim Curtin right now, I might want to say, "Hey, Andrew Rick, here goes get some play time in Saturday," because I don't want to feed him to the wolves as just yet. Here, look, Simba, I'm going to need you. Whatever you had from last week, carry over till Wednesday. Get that in there. And start playing like you've been.
You like Rick. You really like Rick.
Yeah, I do. I know it's one. Yeah, I mean, I know it's one game, but the one game I saw him in, I saw a solid performance. So I'm curious to know if he could take his game to the next level. I'm always curious to see that. I want to see if he has what it takes to get there. And I think he does. So, bring him up. Bring him up and let's see what he has, But yeah, if you guys are checking to the show, guys, give us your prediction. How do you think Saturday's going to predict out? Is there someone from Charlotte do you fear? I think if I recall, this Patrick, I don't want to butcher his last name. I've been butchering names through this whole entire show so far, but he's already got 3 goals in the night. Yeah, like I said, they don't have a lot of guys who are scorers. They got guys who can defend. That's their key, and they spread the ball a little bit better. They spread the ball a little bit more, better than we can. So Philly's really going to have to keep their head on the swivel, play, like you said, some tight defense, and really get things going there.
And it's really like night and day between Charlotte and Toronto, how you have to game plan for each club. So it's what does Jim do? Does he do his typical put out a starting lineup for Charlotte based off of, thinking about Toronto? Or does he put out a lineup for Charlotte thinking, let's go out and win tonight. We'll deal with Toronto when we get there. And I think Charlotte is definitely, that's the game that if you're Curtin, that you need to be focused on. No other sport do you hear any other coach or player think about next week, in NFL. They're not thinking, and if they do, what normally happens? You lose. So I understand that you're putting out a club sometimes and you're putting out a squad that, we're thinking about rest for some guys and we're thinking about giving them, minutes and restricting them because of Wednesday and, they just played Saturday and we're traveling. Play to win now. Play to win today's game.
Yes.
Toronto's game, those guys give up goals. So you're going to be able to, even probably with off short rest, be able to go and just get some lucky, off rebound goals, or put them in positions where you might be able to get a PK. It's where Charlotte is where they're going to give you the hardest time and the biggest, issues, because what do we say about in all sports? What wins championships? Defense. So
defenses.
There's not a player on offense for Charlotte that really I'm like, man, what do we need Harriel to do tonight? Because what do we all these other matches? There's always that one guy that is like, all right, Harriel, we're asking you to do something that we don't normally ask you to do. Can you play over here? Or who's finally going to step up? Is Damian Lowe, or is it going to be the Glesnes, or is it going to be the Elliott game? This is one of those matches where you don't need the defense to, be the reason why you win. It can finally be go out there, score, put something together, put a lineup, which to me means Bedoya has got to be coming off the bench. Got to be coming off the bench this game. I'm okay with him starting against Toronto. Where, Toronto, the other thing too, Toronto is going up against Cincinnati this week, where Cincinnati won like 6 matches in a row. So Toronto themselves are going up against a juggernaut this week where they themselves are going to really be coming into Wednesday, most likely hurting themselves a little bit and reeling. So focus on Charlotte. Don't do like how. Go ahead.
No, I kind of want them to win on Saturday. This way they come in, smell themselves a little bit tired, but kind of smell themselves. And that's where we're good with our TKO punch. Like, that's where I feel like Philly will catch you at home. Because, this team's already frustrated enough losing at home as late. They're going to want to come out swinging on Saturday. And if they, like you said, if you could put away Charlotte, walk out Charlotte with a W. And like you said, really think about what you were just saying. You want to see Bedoya start on Wednesday. So, and we all know what he is. He's a great spark plug off the bench. Maybe you get that kind of energy going right from the start of against Toronto. So what you need to do is have, like you said, come off the bench, come Saturday, let Bedoya and get some body work, get that going, bring them in late if you got to, and then have them start Saturday, and then they'll reverse the roles a little bit. But you got to keep the scoring going. You have to get on the scoreboard first to put, to get things rolling here.
Yeah. And I will say that's the one thing, too, that I'm glad to see this season versus last season is when they get up on a team, which has been very rare this season, but when they do, they don't just start to play back and let's just play keep away. They still keep the foot on the gas and they still try to come for their throat. And to where, previous years it was, we're up 1-0. Our defense is so good and our goalkeeper is so good. We don't even have to have an offensive mindset now because we're probably we can beat you 1-0 right now. To where now it's, we know the defense is lacking. We're up 1-0. Let's go get 2. Let's go try to get 3 instead of we're happy with just 1. So that's where I'm glad that this club, and I'm hoping they do it this Saturday, where if they can get an early goal, oh man, it would do wonders because Charlotte can't, they don't have an offensive mindset. You go get an early goal, you're taking Charlotte off of their game plan and how they play, and maybe you might be able to catch them with a second goal in transition on one of those deep passes that McGlynn is great at, that Kai's great at. The gate right game, man. You keep saying it. New England.
It was.
You're almost thinking me.
Yes, and listen, and everything you said, right? You think about this too, and go talk about Semelo again. Last Wednesday, he played against the New York team that scored under 2 minutes. Under 2 minutes. So you go from that to being a brick wall between the pipes. I mean, you got everything fixed. So now you just worked out all the bugs. You worked out everything, whatever catchphrase you call it. You got everything straight here. So now that's, like I said, this is a good momentum builder. And I want to circle back to that momentum. You have guys who are now clicking. But like I said, we just kind of need the defenses to really step up here. This is where, again, they might not have great goal scoring, but they move the rock around on offense. They spread the ball around. I believe they got like 7 guys on their stat line, if I'm not correct. They got a couple guys, maybe have like a 1 goal in it, but they kind of spread that ball, around. So, but Philly's going to have to play a tight defense. I mean, if you're showing weaknesses against New England and with this upcoming, schedule, you better be on your A game. Like I said, it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary for this team. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. See what they got. See, because they're going to need it, especially come with 2 teams pretty much directly right in front of you in the standings. I mean,
it's like New England was the medicine that the doctor prescribed for the Union.
Yes,
like all right, we dropped them in right at the right seat, right at the right time.
Yeah, and just at the right time. So I like to see Uwa get on the scoreboard a little bit. Maybe Bedoya gets one. Yeah, he has been great. That's one thing that's been solid. He's been good. He's actually been playing a lot better than he was last year. Playing, worth his contract a little bit. McGlynn's been, getting on the scoreboard as of late. Gazdag, Gazdag. As long as you have that 2-1-2 punch, you'll be fine. And think about how good Gazlag's been. Just think about it. Like, the stat here that you created. I mean, that's nice. I mean, this guy is just something else. Just playing on a whole nother level. If we're going to touch on him, just Gazlag's just been on another level, Steve. I mean, just finding two goals for this man, back to back rebounding goals. Pretty much one of the best penalty kickers in the league. Mm-hmm. Gazdag is the man right now. He's just finding ways to find back in that. He's a pest. He's a pest in front of that net.
It's crazy. He makes that goal. He's got 10 goals, and now he's like 4th in the league in scoring. But no, I think Jim said it. He's almost like a third striker at times. The way he can position himself. He night and day. It almost took a few matches to get him going, but he's proven everything to be in that 10 spot and to wear that number on the back of his jersey. I think these guys who get to go play for their country and their national club, they take pride in that, and that kind of elevates their game a little bit more at times. And especially, I think he probably heard the murmurs of, Carranza should be the guy, Sullivan in the beginning of the season. He was playing great in his place at times. And all these guys got egos. And I think sometimes it's like, all right, let me go. And I think, too, he's got the green light now for pretty much anything. Where it's, you want to shoot from out here? You want to try? You want to get cute with some of your, heel kicks and passes and stuff? Go ahead and do it. You got the green light to do really whatever. And when you have a free mind like that, it does wonders for some players. And I think he's been able to play with a little bit more of a free mind and, in his ability to play. And even the way that he finds, like, those two goals, he finds the right areas where to be. He has a knack for the ball. Now we just need him turning the W's at home. Yeah.
And listen, there's no I in team, but man, it's like I say, he's putting a lot of. He's definitely the workhorse of this team. But again, when you look at this guy, just look at this kid. When you look at Gazdag, again, 2 years ago, he was a great striker, finding the back of the net. Last year, he was more of a facilitator than a striker, but however, he led the league in penalty kicks. And then this year, kind of doing the same. I mean, when he gets that penalty kick, it's almost a guarantee that it's going in. And then, like you saw him this past Saturday, like I said, not one but two, getting great offensive rebounds and making the opposing defense, opposing goaltending, pay the piper and find the back of the net. This dude's been solid. Daniel Gazdag, man, is just playing out of his mind right now. 9 goals. I mean, he just knows how to get open and knows how to find the back of the net. And that's what it's about. Like I said, he's a pest in front of that opposing goalkeeper. Yeah. He's a pest for them. So, and he's doing, like I said, a solid job. 60 goals. Beats your franchise all-time record. You really can't, again, he's doing a hell of a job, man. He's doing a really great job of putting it. And then, like you said here, with this stat, I mean, look at the 1-2 punch here. Look at the 1-2 punch between him and Julian, between Daniel Gazdag and Julian Carranza. A 1-2 punch, man, it's nasty. If one's not scoring, the other one is. Whether it's rebounding, penalty kicks, header goals, anything. These two are finding the back of the net, and they are lethal together. That's your Batman and Robin in Philadelphia sports right now. There's no one better right now. No one better.
The Union's Maxey and Embiid.
Yes. But actually, this one could score. So, but yeah, Steve, let's go out of real fast. Let's go to out of market games to watch for the weekend. Steve, what's your game to watch?
I kind of already teased.
Let's go.
I was talking about it before, but
yes,
the Toronto Cincinnati game, I really want to watch. I'm probably going to try and do do 2 screens. I wish the Apple TV had that.
Yes.
The way YouTube has the dual screen.
Yes.
They need to have that. But that'll be the other
Yes.
one I keep my eye on. What about you? What do you got?
Same. I kind of looked at. I'm looking at Colorado, Minnesota, or I really want to watch Vancouver and Miami. Vancouver is going to host Miami. I like to see what they got at home for this Miami team. I want to see the Messi Love Tour that's been going around, and I want to see. It's like almost like stadiums will have to outsell one another for this guy. It's unreal. So, but yeah, I like to see that game as well. I think that's going to be a solid game as well. And then you got Wednesday's schedule. Wednesday's schedule is kind of, it's not really thrusting anything right there. But yeah, Saturday nights have some decent games, like you mentioned, Toronto and Cincinnati. That should be a battle of the heavyweights in the East. So, something to keep your eye on moving forward, especially for Wednesday. Hopefully, Cincinnati can soften them up and bring them in. So, Steve, Saturday night, kind of relaxed. They're on the road. What would be your meal of the day?
We're doing walking tacos. We're having some friends over. We're gonna get some bags of Doritos and do some walking tacos. Have all the spread out and everything like that.
There you go.
Have a good time for the game. Oh, definitely need a W when you're doing walking tacos. So,
question, gotta ask you: go-to move at a Memorial Day barbecue?
Go-to movie?
Go-to move, like what's your go-to plate? Instance, the gobbler, gotta stack up burgers, gotta stack the hot dogs, gotta go deviled eggs, gotta go baked beans.
Deviled eggs. Deviled eggs.
Yes.
Deviled eggs from the jump. Deviled eggs from the jump. It's my birthday weekend. Always Memorial Day weekend. Is always my birthday weekend. Yep.
Nice.
So it always. So it actually on Monday, everyone. I always joke around. I used to tell my daughter all the time when she was little, growing up, that the pools always opened up for me for my birthday. And then when she got older, she realized that I was just lying to her. But yeah, no, it's deviled eggs is always my go-to. Everyone always pays for it at the end, but a few hours later. But deviled eggs, you can never go wrong with deviled eggs.
No, you can never go wrong with deviled eggs. Ribs is a good go-to item as well. Don't know if the mac and cheese will be out there though. But if there is, go to the mac and cheese. Go to potato salad. Potato's always good. Pasta salad over the potato salad. Gotta go. I'm taking potato salad over
burgers.
Pasta salad over
Burgers
potato
and hot
salad.
dogs. I know you're a big hot dog guy. So
yes, I could tear some hot dogs. I could tear some burgers. I could run through them like I'm going out of business. So
you're gonna be at the link, right? You're gonna be at the link this weekend.
I'm gonna be at the link all weekend. So guys, that's a perfect segue. So listen, guys, follow Pat Bernard on X. Pat from Allen right there. I will be doing a lot of NCAA coverage for you all weekend as far as lacrosse. My whole Memorial Day weekend lives and breathes down that Lincoln Financial Field. So I'm pretty much not. I might as well just put a bet and say, here, I'm going to be here for the whole weekend. But Steve, where can the people find you at? Right here, guys. X right there at Soldier Steve 24/7.
Oh wait, there we go. Wait, there we go. All right, the camera. Yep, Soldier Steve 247 on EOP under the Union stuff. From time to time, I'm going to be hopping on with Phil and Jason on Fairway to Heaven talking golf. And then try to get on some more stuff. Just EOP, man. Trying to do it all. Trying to be like you, man. Trying to be like you.
Listen, this is where it gets. This is where it gets you in trouble because you are training in my way. So I already saw you on 2 shows. Soon you'll be finding yourself on Steel Steps. Soon you'll find yourself doing Eagles post game, Phillies post game, Sixers post game, Flyers post game, and then realize this is your life right here. So yes.
There it is.
Yes, you're training into the to the back gate. But no, listen, guys, gotta give him a follow, and guys, you guys need to get your Union content. Stay here on the Attack and Third because me and Steve got you covered, man. Steve's been doing a really good job of being our workhorse here, covering everything Union. So, guys, thank you, Dominic. So, yes, guys, catch us on the flip side. Guys, for me, Steve, we are out of here. We'll catch you next week. And hopefully, before we get out of here, final prediction for Saturday, Steve, and for Wednesday.
2-1 Charlotte. And then Wednesday, I got 3-2 W for the Union.
Ooh. I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to say a 3-1 win for the Union Saturday. But come home, I think trouble in paradise at home still lingers this team. And I think they're going to lose 2-0 to Toronto.
Ooh, wow. No raccoon sightings.
Or 14-year-old kids. But no, there might be a 14-year-old kid running around. So
Might be. Summer break.
Might be. Yeah. But listen, guys, for me, Steve, guys, we want to say thanks for checking out the program. For everyone who's checked into the show, we highly appreciate it. Guys, go share it out. Let your friends know. Check out the Attack and Third. For me, Steve, we'll catch you next week. Go Union.